I always wondered what it felt like to be dead, and now I knew. Wait, if I was dead, how could I be thinking? Maybe this is what death is like. We just go on thinking. Then I heard the basement door click shut, and I came back to reality. I wasn't dead. I was still crouching in Professor's basement. I was safe. But I didn't have that letter. I had to get that letter. I had come too far to walk away empty-handed. There were no more sounds above me. In 10 seconds, he would be gone. It was safe to come out of hiding, so I tried to stand. I could, but barely. I was right not to try to tackle him. That would have been a disaster. If my legs could recover, I still might be able to catch him, though. I balanced clumsily on one leg and shook the other a little. Shake a leg. I'd heard my grandmother say that, and it always sounded so funny to me. Now that funny line was coming to my mind in the middle of this crazy adventure. Moving my leg seemed to help, and I switched and shook the other. 10 more seconds had passed. I needed to get going before he got too far. I started up the steps. What if he heard me and came back down? I had to risk it. He might be getting into his car right now. As I moved up the steps slowly and then a little faster, I felt them coming back to life. By the time I reached the top, they were almost back to normal. When I came out the basement door, I looked left and then right, nobody in sight. I paused for a second to listen, nothing. He had to be outside the house by now. He had no reason to hang around here and risk getting caught by Professor. I quickly headed to the front door and eased it open, peeking outside. I was ready to follow him, but I didn't want him to see me yet. I stood a better chance of getting those papers from him if I could surprise him. As I stepped slowly onto the front porch, I looked to the left where the driveway was, but it was empty. Of course, he wouldn't park there because Professor would see the car if he returned while a guy was in his house. I looked to the right, and there was someone in black several blocks away. I started after him. As I walked through the front yard and started down the sidewalk, I tried to regroup. Okay, this might be the stranger I had seen in the basement, or it might not be. Right now, though, it was my best shot. I would just keep following him for now. Would I look suspicious to neighbors? I glanced down at myself and ran my hand through my hair. No, I was okay. On the outside, anyway. Inside, my heart was still beating fast and my mind was rattled. Deep breaths. How had he gotten so far ahead of me? Or maybe this wasn't even the same guy. I hustled to catch up. Pretty soon I was jogging. If he got in the car, I wouldn't have time to get into mine and follow him. At least he was heading toward the clubhouse where I had parked. I was catching up on him. But wait, this was happening too fast. I had him in my sights. He probably couldn't outrun me, and besides, he didn't even know I was behind him. I slowed down. Now we were walking exactly the same pace, and I was only 50 yards behind him. I spotted the backpack over his shoulder. This had to be the guy. He turned and headed toward the clubhouse parking lot. Had he parked there too? That would be weird. No, actually, it made sense. He was planning to sneak into Professor's house just as I was. This was a safe place to park. We were thinking alike. What now? I would just play it cool. He gets into his car, I get into my car. Nothing suspicious about that. He doesn't know who I am. I can just follow him and devise a plan while I'm driving. He was approaching a car parked away from the others. Mine was close by. Before I got in, I paused just a second and tried to get a glimpse of his face when he turned around. I couldn't believe what I saw next.